Welcome
This
to
is
Sick of
Sick of
Starting
Starting
Over.
Over.
Hi, I'm Coach
Stop
Monica,
restarting,
and this is where
start
you
building.
stop chasing quick
I'll see you
fixes
next week.
and start
Bye.
building strength that lasts. If you're over 40 and done with the restart cycle, you're in the right place. So you're sweating like crazy, doing all the cardio and all the cardio things, and your body still looks the same? This episode is for you. The truth is, after 40, cardio by itself can make you look smaller. Yeah, we can agree on that. But it doesn't always make you leaner, more sculpted, more defined, because it doesn't build the kind of body that makes you feel strong, makes you feel capable. Because, see, the real goal after 40 for most of us is to get stronger, to lose body fat without losing muscle. Because muscle is what gives you shape, strength, and metabolism. But here's the thing, if that's our goal, then why are many of us only doing cardio? Make it make sense. Like most of us over 40, we want to lose the extra weight. We want to feel like we have more energy. We're getting in shape. We're fitting into those jeans that we used to wear 5 years ago, or into that new dress that we bought 2 summers ago. But yet, we're just doing cardio and have the expectation that by doing this said cardio, somehow we're going to get in shape. We're going to recomp our body, recompose our figure. No, that's likely not going to happen that way. At least not from a standpoint of cardio only. Because strength training or building muscle, it gives you the shape. It gives you strength. It burns the body fat because our metabolism changes when we strength train. So if strength training isn't a part of the equation, then this is why a lot of people get stuck. Yeah, they're doing cardio only and they're smaller, but their body doesn't have any type of shape or definition or sculpting. It's not leaner and it's definitely not stronger. So today I'm going to show you the simplest way that we can balance both strength and cardio without overcomplicating your week, without overwhelming the whole scenario. So you can actually see progress and you can stop restarting every few weeks, every month, every year. You restart. We want to stop that cycle. So, first, I want to talk about two mistakes I see most that are polar opposites of one another that backfires after 40. Mistake number one, like I just mentioned, cardio only. Cardio only gives us short term results and often encourages muscle loss. It increases more fatigue and it leaves our bodies really feeling like it's harder to manage because the cardio has burned so many calories and it just kind of leaves you feeling a little depleted. You don't feel stronger when you finish a run, or you don't feel stronger after an hour and a half on a treadmill walking, or on an elliptical machine for an hour, do you feel stronger? Do you feel like, yes, my body is now in tip top shape? You did cardiovascular work. That is what you're doing. Another mistake that I've seen in my years of coaching is when people just strength train only without any type of cardio or any type of conditioning. Yeah, you get stronger. We know that's a great benefit. You get stronger, but your stamina drops. Your daily movement declines because you're not even moving your body. You're pushing weights, but you're not moving. In terms of any stamina or endurance, you're winded walking upstairs. You're winded maybe when you're even doing your strength training because you don't have any cardiovascular work going on. Your recovery and stress can still knock you off track. And because cardio is really, really great at helping you reduce stress, and when you're strength training, you're actually increasing some levels of stress on your body and inflammation and a host of other things. The cardiovascular is a great way to bring that back down. So after 40, we don't pick a team, cardio versus strength training. We build a system that holds balance with both in mind. So, what does strength training do for us as it relates to longevity? Well, there's a few benefits. I'm going to go over a few of them. One of the things that we can both agree on is that we know strength training builds muscles. It preserves the muscles that you already have, but it also helps you build new muscles. And this is our longevity currency. Muscles equals longevity for so many reasons. It supports joints, posture. It makes fat loss work better, right? Because our metabolism is on fire when you strength train. It improves function and it gives us confidence. And what I mean by that is because a lot of times we see strength training as so unattainable, it is so difficult to manage or to grow in or to progress in. But when we can actually go in there and push ourselves past the mental blocks that comes with strength training, you have no idea how good that feels to know I went in the gym, I killed it. I didn't think I could press XYZ. I didn't think I could curl XYZ. I didn't think I could pull such and such, but I did it because the body will adapt. The body will adapt to the pressure, if you will, and the stress that you put on it via this delivery called strength training. I have seen it in my many years of coaching, people who were the weakest of the weak become so daggone strong, so mentally strong, their confidence out the roof because they did something they didn't think they could do. So that's where the confidence comes in. And when you can walk in a room, own it, look amazing, feel amazing, you can achieve so many things in life because the confidence that you are radiating on the inside is going to touch other people's lives and it's also going to draw people to you. I've seen it happen. I have seen it happen. But the bottom line is strength is the retirement plan for your body. It's where we get to build the strongest foundation for 20, 30, 40 years in front of us because we have put in the work. But let's talk about cardio because let it be known, I am not against cardio whatsoever. In fact, I think cardio is a really good tool. But as we get into today's episode, we're going to understand a little bit more of why cardio should not be the priority. And cardio, what does it look like for longevity purposes? It builds a strong heart and it builds strong lung stamina. We can walk upstairs without being winded. We could, carry a few bags of groceries from the car into the house without running out of breath. The 5 steps in, right? Life feels easier when we have the lung and heart capacity to do some things that are a little strenuous. It supports recovery when it's programmed intelligently. It can boost our capacity um, to work longer in our training, in our strength training sessions, right? And like I mentioned already, it helps with stress management. It's nothing like taking a good walk in the middle of the day at work when your morning was crazy and you go and take a walk and you're able to really get that stress under control and calm down, right? So keep in mind, cardio is a tool, but it is not the foundation. It's not the foundation. It is an added tool that's going to help balance our strength training very well. So let's talk about how we're able to match our cardio to our specific goals. After 40, your cardio should match your goals. You can't be after 40 running like you did when you were 25. Your joints are different, they're older, they have more wear and tear. Your bone health is different. It's not as strong as it used to be. So cardio, if you were only doing cardio, you are working against that progression or that decline that's happening in your body with that level of impact, depending on whatever type of cardio you're doing, especially if it's a runner. And again, I'm not against runners, so I don't want the runners community saying something to me in comments about running. I am not against running. I just feel that if that's all you did as you age, there could be some other things that you could be doing to align with your cardio. That's all I'm saying. So, in terms of your goals, if your goal is fat loss and you're busy or you're stressed, you want steady cardio. That's the win. That is your hack. Walking, incline walking, biking, something that you could do on a repeat without wrecking your recovery. If your goal is to have better stamina and conditioning, then you want to do a little bit more cardio with intensity. Like I like to suggest jump roping, sled pushing, um, rebounding or trampoline jumping. I really believe that jumping exercises are so beneficial in terms of bone health, the cardiovascular component of the jumping, the mental component of the jumping. So anything along that line would be very, very good. I mean, again, joint health, bone health, lymph drainage. I mean, we can go down a whole conversation around jumping, but this definitely will help with stamina and conditioning. This gives you short bursts of controlled intervals that you don't destroy yourself during a session, right? Like 2 hours of cardio versus like a very short and controlled strategic session of intensity is really good for conditioning. So if your goal is body recomposition, so you really want to get the body sculpted, you really want to get in shape, and get all of the things that I mentioned earlier, the nice back, the arms, they call the underarm flying arms or triceps, the tricep area. If you want to get that nice and sculpted and toned and firmed, uh, while losing fat while keeping your shape, then strength training is a non-negotiable. Yeah, we cannot do just cardio. Cardio will support your lifting, but it can't replace it because your muscle is what you're trying to keep to get your body to look athletic and to function well. So here's what I want you to remember. Cardio is not the plan, it's the assist. Make cardio support to your strength training, but don't allow it to steal from it. Okay? So, one of the simplest ways that cardio can assist with your strength training, you probably thinking about it, is walking. Simple. Walking. Walking is one of the most underrated cardio exercises you can do. And the steady state kind, I'm not talking about anything with any level of intensity. Steady state walking. Walking for fat loss is a simple lever after 40. It's going to help you burn lots of calories without crushing your recovery, without impacting your joints. It's repeatable. It's easy to be consistent with. I mean, hey, you can walk during the day at work if you work during the day. You can walk after work. You can do a morning walk before work. You can walk after you drop off the kids if you're a stay-at-home parent. You can walk in the middle of the night. You can walk inside your house, even if you can't go outdoors or make it to the gym. You can walk in place. If you have stairs, you can walk up and down the stairs for a certain set amount of time. Walking is one of the easiest, if not the easiest, things you could do for cardio if you're capable and able to walk. Period. And the best thing about that is with consistency, you don't have to restart over and over and over. So start where you are and build a steady walking habit that you can do on repeat. If that's the afternoon walk at work and another one after work every day, great. You could do it for 20 minutes to 30 minutes each time, even better. Because walking is your fat loss hack after 40. Can't stress that enough. So, over the years, I've been able to build workouts and plans for many clients. And I typically go with a certain sequence 9 times out of 10 based on the simplicity of a beginner. Like, I want to make sure that a beginner can follow a sequence or pattern that will allow them to stay committed and consistent with the program. So, one of the things that I like to do is just, again, a simple weekly plan. And I want to share that with you. One of the things you could do to ensure that you strike a really good balance between strength training and walking, or excuse me, strength training and cardio. I'm talking about walking, and doesn't have to be walking, but striking a balance between strength training and cardio is to do a similar sequence like Monday is your upper body day, Tuesday is a lower body day, Wednesday is another upper body, and Friday is lower body. That's 4 days of strength training. And then the other days, Thursday is your steady cardio, and Saturday is a cardio day. So that gives you a total of 6 days of training, balanced training. Okay. On your cardio days, Thursday, it's a steady cardio day. So that could be 30 minutes to 45 minutes. You could do indoor walking, outdoor walking, incline. And I'm not talking about an incline of 15 at 5.0 speed. I am speaking at a steady walk, a steady pace, very low impact, and you could still have a conversation. So that's how steady that walk is. Whereas on your Saturday cardio, this is where we're going to up the ante a little bit. We're going to up the ante a little to a little bit of intensity, but not to the extent where you're going to pass out. Not to the extent where you're going to be quote unquote sore the next day. We want you to be out of breath just enough to get your heart rate up, just enough for you to have, some sweat, right? And just enough that it's controlled. When it gets a little bit too intense, you know how to scale back a little bit. So this could be either via walking with an incline, maybe a 4 to 6, in keeping your speed under 4.0, and or you're doing the sled, pushing it, pulling it. Maybe you're doing uh, some type of slam balls or rope work, anything that's going to get your heart rate up, or anything that might be compound, meaning it is hitting two different body parts or is serving two different purposes at once. Those are always the best. A twofer, a bang for your buck. So that would be my recommendation for balancing strength training and cardio. Those are some suggestions within that. And then, of course, your Sundays are always off. This is your rest day minimum, meaning that if you want to have 2 days off, I would strike one day in the middle of the week as a day off, like Wednesday and Sunday. Those are your 2 off days. The other days, you will balance between strength and cardio. Keep it in mind that your strength training always will be more days than your cardio. And that doesn't mean that throughout the week you're not doing cardio in little spurts, meaning 10-minute walk here, 5-minute walk there, a morning, walk in the morning before work if you need to just go out and collect your thoughts and get your day started. Those are fine, but I mean designated cardio where it's just, a specific time, then these are definitely 2 days that I would make non-negotiable for my week, for sure. And while you're doing the cardio and the strength training, I want you to gain a mindset in how you're going to execute this. Meaning, there's a specific purpose either of those days will serve for you when you're actually ready to do them. For instance, on your strength days, I want you to think about training to progress, not training to pass out, not training until you're hurting and you can't walk. That's exaggeration. Like, there's no need for that. And after 40, it's not the best approach, right? We're not trying to go into the gym or, even in your home gym and kill ourselves. We're trying to get to a point of week after week, we're progressing, whether it's in more reps, more weight, longer workout time or shorter workout times, and longer rest times, anything that's going to progress our body to not constantly adapt to what we're putting the time under tension, or the tension of the weight training or strength training under for our bodies. It will keep adapting. We want to constantly confuse the body. And that's another conversation, another episode where we kind of go into the different dynamics around strength training and how we are able to hack that. But going back to what I initially said, we want to make sure that on our strength days, we have the mindset that we're going in with the goal of training to progress. It's all about progression, not perfection. And then on our steady state cardio days, you should be able to talk. We want to keep that conversational. And then on our Saturday or our second cardio day, where there's a little more intensity there, we want to make sure we choose cardio, or the exercises that we do choose, it's joint and recovery friendly. Again, we're not trying to kill ourselves. We just want to raise and increase our intensity, our heart rate up a little bit, just to get that extra burn in. But that's it. And one of the rules I want you to follow, and listen to me carefully about this piece. One of the rules I want you to follow is, if you miss a day or two, you don't restart the week. You go to the next day in the sequence. So if I miss Monday, then I do Tuesday's workout. I don't say, oh, well, I missed Monday. I guess I'll start next Monday. No, go to Tuesday. And if for whatever reason you can't train on Tuesday, then you do your Wednesday. You keep the chain moving, because, see, this is why it's important to have structure. This is why it's important to have a plan, to have a schedule. Because if you didn't, how would you know what to do next if you missed a day or two? So we want to prevent the restart cycle. We want to prevent long periods of time between when we started and then the next time we pick it up. Just go to the next day in the sequence and try your best to not miss any days. So, one of the things that, if you've listened to previous episodes, I try to leave the episode something that you could do that is actual and tangible, an action step that you can take based on what I've coached you on today in today's episode. And so, what I would like you to do is to write down your week, your upper, lower, upper, cardio, lower, whatever it might be for you. And when you do write down this week, I want you to keep in mind your predictable weeks based on your life and your lifestyle. Meaning, if your life on Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the most chaotic. The kids have soccer, you have meetings that day at work, and it usually pushes your actual tasks back. And you may have to stay an hour late for work on Tuesdays, usually. Like, whatever it is, create your week around that. So if that is the case, say Tuesdays and Wednesdays are your most chaotic days of the week, then you would put your cardio days there because that's going to take the least amount of time of your week. We can assume that you're going to be in the gym a little longer than 30 minutes. Let's say your gym time is usually 45 minutes to an hour versus your cardio time is 30 minutes until 45 minutes. So whichever is shorter for you, that's what you would schedule on those days that you could predict that it's likely that you're not going to be able to go to the gym on those days. Therefore, there's no real excuse for you not getting it in on the other days. And so this helps you segue into an actual plan that is doable, measurable, predictable, proactive for you. See, so you're not scrambling week to week or you find yourself in repeat of restart. Again, we're trying to prevent that. This is why you are where you are if you are still on your fitness journey trying to get somewhere, trying to move the needle, trying to get to the next level. So we have to really get rooted in some type of structure that works for our lives when it goes left. Yeah. So that's what I would like for you to do as a result of what you've learned today. Okay. And remember this, our motivation fades, but our systems, the simplest of systems, they stay. They help us stay rooted in discipline and consistency and getting results. Okay? The way we get results, when we are on social and we saw all these people and we're like, oh my gosh, he looks amazing, she looks amazing. These people, just like you and me, have a gazillion things happening in life, but somehow they still manage to get it in and be consistent enough to get the results we're looking at and admiring on social. And we're sitting there wondering, well, how did they do it? They did it because they followed a structured system that works for their lives, that makes sense, that gets them past the mental blocks, past the time constraints, past the excuses, past the lack of motivation, because 99% of those people are not motivated. I could tell you that. I could tell you for myself personally, I am not always motivated to go train, but I'm disciplined enough and I'm hungry enough to want my life to be quality, to last, to be fit, to be in shape, to be strong, to be capable, to be stable on my feet, to have healthy joints and bones, to have cognitive abilities when I get older, that I can still think for myself, I can still do for myself. And that's what this is all about. This whole longevity fitness game is all about doing the work today for output and returns for the rest of our life. Okay? So all right, keep it simple this week. Strength has to be in the equation and walking is your best friend. So if you were listening today thinking, Coach, I really need real structure that actually holds when life gets loud, join me for my upcoming Signature Series workshop, April 30th. why fitness feels harder after 40, and what actually works. We're going to break the restart cycle. We're going to break it somehow. We're going to build your baseline discipline and map out your plans A, B, and C so that you stop starting over and start being fit for life. Details are in the link. And before we go, I want to take a quick moment to thank you, truly thank you for being here. We're halfway through season 1. Yay! And your listens and shares matter more than you think. And I'm very, very appreciative. If you want to support the show, do 2 things for me. Please hit follow and share this episode with one friend who you think needs it. And that's how we can grow this thing together. I'm Coach Monica, and thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.